Hello everyone, Texer here, and today I wanted to talk about something. Now, recently a game that I'm involved in has celebrated its 10th birthday, I guess, and a lot of the old timers, including myself, started sharing a whole bunch of stories from way back in the day, and a lot of people seem to like this. So what I wanted to do is just get a bunch of these recorded, put them out there, and save these stories for posterity. So I thought I'd start with how it came to where we are today. Well, 10 years ago, I was playing a lot of Urban Dead. A lot of the guys behind the Nexus were playing a lot of Urban Dead. The problem was these sorts of games have a rotating player base, as they say. Players get interested, they play for a while, and then they lose interest. So the people playing this game now, completely different from the people who were playing when I played. And I don't play Urban Dead anymore. It was fun, but I'm kind of done with that game. Well, one guy who was really big in a group, he went by the username of Jorm, and you may have actually seen him on Wikipedia as Brandon Harris, the programmer. That's him looking like he's about to kick your ass if you don't donate $1 to Wikipedia. Well, Jorm was a part of a fairly large community that he was seeing fracture and fall apart. And he didn't really want to see that happen. So in a last desperate attempt to keep things together, he created Nexus War. Nexus War no longer exists. He had to close that after a while. But for a time, that was how he kept all of his people, all of his favorite friends, together. Well, that closed in October of 2009. And we were all very sad about that. But a few of us got together and recreated it. We made Nexus Clash, which I'm on the wrong page. Nexus Clash was kind of our little fan remake of it. And even going as far back as Nexus War, I was involved heavily in the development process. So I kind of have the unique position of being able to look back and see where we've been and why we are where we are today. And it's just been a really cool process seeing the whole thing develop from nothing to the point where it finally has to fall apart and then get redeveloped from nothing. And now it's getting redeveloped from nothing again. This is our alpha for our new version. So, yeah, I really want to tell some of these stories from way back in the day. But I think the one I really want to start with, the one that interests me the most, is the story of DARIS. Now, DARIS, let me go back and actually pull their original wiki page. Bear with me. Look at me all prepared. So DARIS was a group consisting mainly of goons from the Something Awful forum. They they had come along from Urban Dead, and largely they were jerks, trolls, that sort of thing. So what made them this way? Well, Nexus War and Urban Dead both had rules about using multiple characters to benefit each other. You're not supposed to do that. The goons from DARIS believed that, hey, if the game doesn't outright stop you from doing it, it's got to be legit. And it's the game's fault for allowing it. And they may have cheated like hell, but you kind of have to admire the fact that they were so open about it. They bragged about how they were doing it. They didn't deny it, which in hindsight is kind of a refreshing thing. Nowadays when people cheat in the game, and I see that a lot, it doesn't matter how blatantly obvious it is. I usually see people just outright denying that they had done anything wrong. It blows my mind how they can do it when it's just, there's no question about it. It's like you brought one ult in here and attacked, and then you brought another one in here and attacked this same group of people. No, I didn't do anything wrong. Come on. Well, DARIS worked a little bit different. They would openly admit to taking their alternate characters and putting them in the factions of their enemies to spy on their faction mails, spy on what was going on, relay that so they'd be able to defend against a raid, and this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of people really, really, really didn't like that for obvious reasons. Well, they were a serious problem. I mean, nowadays, if you lock the door, it actually sends a message to the entire area. Everybody sees that you have locked the door. Back then, this didn't happen. Nobody got a message. Nobody knew who locked the door. Which created a big problem in large strongholds because, yeah, you've got all these people who gathered around, this is their home. Well, someone from DARIS, their alternate account, would close and lock the door, and nobody would be able to get in until you bust the door down. This led one of the largest factions at the time, and currently the largest factions, Oblivion Squadron. The founder of Oblivion Squadron, Stroth, had set a standing policy, which remains the greatest standing policy ever in existence. Her rule was, and I quote, "Everybody break the door and then go out and kill every person you can find who has the engineering skill who could repair the door." So, basically, instead of throwing a drama fit on the forum, she just told her people to go and kill everybody who could possibly fix the door. And that was really fun. That was back when things were pretty cool. Of course, eventually, DARIS fell apart. What had happened was a number of factions finally got together and decided they had had enough of this. They didn't want to just sit there and take it. So they organized a joint raid together, and every person who participated in that raid got a personal invite from the leaders of the faction. There was no big announcement. I actually was not invited to that raid because certain people didn't know me well enough. I wasn't in the correct circles. But the people who were invited, they were all personally invited. So they got this group from multiple factions together as various leaders arranged where they were going in with their lieutenants, mostly their lieutenants. And they successfully raided DARIS. Something that had never been done before because since DARIS was reading your faction mails and knew what your raid plans were, they would be ready to defend, and an active defense is much harder to deal with. So, yeah, they pulled it off. They managed to take them out. What happened in the next few hours was pretty hilarious. The leaders of DARIS threw a massive temper tantrum. accused everybody else of cheating, kicked everybody from their faction, deleted their faction, and every single one of them quit forever. Yeah. This was after having a couple months of saying, yeah, we're cheating. What are you going to do about it? Well, they did something about it, and the leadership of DARIS took their ball and went home. And we hadn't seen them since. Which a lot of us were really happy about, but in retrospect, they were kind of a nice feature to have in the game. They were that one enemy that was okay being the bad guy. They were that one enemy that were happy with who they were perceived as. They were that one enemy that was okay to hate. And these days, we really don't have an enemy like that. So it's a little bit disappointing, a little bit, yeah, because we can't really stand up and say, well, these guys are jerks and they openly cheat. And a large part of that is because it's very difficult to prove who's cheating nowadays, but there we go. So, yeah, that's a long rambling story about DARIS. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll probably be telling a lot more stories like this in the future, going over various characters and their origin and where they end up and what kind of impact they had. I could tell so many stories. I'll probably never run out, but, well, realistically, I think I will. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Check out Nexus Clash if you, for whatever reason, stumbled upon this and haven't done it already. It is a browser-based, text-based online role-playing game. And I'll see you there. Bye-bye.